Hello YouTube, this is Wisps and Whimsy, and you are watching Starting Out Solitary Subs Week. This week our topic is our first experiences with paganism, or what started us on our current paths. So my first experiences with paganism were the usual ways people come to paganism, or at least become aware of it, I think, and that would be through pop culture, through books, and later on through TV and movies and things. I was raised in a very, very conservative Christian household, the kind of household where Halloween was an evil holiday, and my parents were very conflicted about celebrating it, although we did end up celebrating it somewhat. But it was one of those very Christian turns, you know. There was one year where we were supposed to dress up as biblical characters. But with that background, one thing I can say for my family was that they encouraged and didn't censor at all our reading. So I was able to go to the library and read any kind of book I wanted to without censorship. And that meant I was pulling books from the adult section of the library at a very young age, and probably not entirely appropriate ones at that. But that did allow me to come into contact with a lot of things I would have otherwise been very sheltered from, and thank goodness that I was able to at least use the library for that. But I think my first official experience or knowledge of paganism outside of Christian teachings about evil and the devil and, you know, shall not allow a witch to live, which honestly I think is misinterpreted anyway, but on another note, but my first truly knowledgeable experience with paganism was reading the Higginbotham's Paganism, an Introduction to Earth-Based Religions. And I think that was actually a really good thing that that was my first introduction to it, because that allowed me to really understand the concepts, the broad concepts behind the big umbrella of paganism, and not to just slap the pop culture knowledge of Wicca and, you know, witchery and that sort of thing onto it. I got a real feel for what actual paganism meant in its many forms. So, but even with that, I wasn't able to actually get into it and feel comfortable with it until I was an adult and I had moved out and had gone to college and took some comparative religions courses and done some study on my own in various religions. And it was then that I was able to feel comfortable, because when you're raised in such a strict environment, even once you're out and you're able to think for yourself, I think many of you will understand where I'm coming from with this, you're still really scared to step away from what you were taught, because it feels wrong, and, you know, especially when you're taught that you're going to hell for something. You know, some people are very strong and they have no problem saying whatever, and then some of us, you know, it's been instilled in us for so long, it makes it very difficult to break away from those kind of thought processes. So it was similar for me. It took me many years to finally feel comfortable following my own path and really allowing how I feel about the world around me to come through. And it was not an easy process. But what brought me here to where I am now would be about 4 or 5 years ago. Somehow, I don't even remember what got it going, but I had stumbled across some videos, and I can't remember. I believe I started out with Mandy, the Shoe Whisperer, and then moved on to Charming Pixie Flora, but I found them around the same time. And I started just devouring every pagan YouTube video I could get a hold of. I quickly found Annie of Mirth and Reverence, and I think Annika and Egyptian, just many that I tried to follow. As many people, if they commented to someone, I checked in to see if they had an active channel, and I just tried to soak up as much as I could. And at the same time, I understood that it's really hard to include really in-depth research in a quick, at the time, 10 to 15 minute YouTube video. And that was back in the days when there were time limits and everybody was checking their cameras to see, oh, how much time do I have left? I'm not done. But it was good times. It was really good times on YouTube back then. But yeah, so that's where I got my start with this particular path. And because of that, because of wanting to know more, I started researching websites online, and I also went back to my roots, so to speak, and went to the library. And I found that it was really hard to get the books that I wanted at my local library because it is such a conservative area, and you guys have heard me talk about this before, I'm sure. But, I branched out from that and started ordering them online. And I'm still at the point where I'm in the closet, which, makes it hard sometimes to follow your own path when you're not comfortable seeking out others to work together. It can feel very kind of depressing sometimes. But at the same time, it's also nice to know that I'm free to follow up on whatever I wish, and I'm not hindered by needing to follow what someone else thinks. So there's positives and negatives, but that's how I got to where I am now, and I'm really enjoying this path. I feel like I've met so many wonderful people, and I'm learning so much, and it's always something new and fascinating, either here or on Facebook or in, discovering a new book to share with everyone. So that is how I came to be where I am today, and I hope this was interesting for you, and I'd love to hear what your particular intro to the path was. So if you would like to share your thoughts, please post them below or on our YouTube page. And until next time, I hope you had a wonderful Letha or Yule. And this is Wisps and Whimsy, wishing you many blessings.